Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? So today we are going to be making this two-piece, but in this video we are going to be making the top part. Then in the next tutorial I'm going to be showing you how you are going to be making the palazzo. So that is what we are going to be making. So you can see it has like a drawstring on the side. So let's get started with the tutorial. So the first thing to do is that you are going to be folding your fabric into four. So now the reason why I'm folding it into four is because I'm cutting both the front and the back together. So I'm going to be cutting the front and the back together. So now I have a closed edge here and I have another closed edge there. So now we're cutting both the front and the back together. So the first thing I'm going to do is you're going to determine the length of your sleeve. So to measure the length of your sleeve, you're going to be placing your tape rule in the middle of your neck, and you measure straight to your sleeve where you want your sleeve to be. So for me, I want it to be around 17 inches. So 17 inches is just fine by me, and I'm going to be marking it out. So from this point where I mark out my 17 inches, I'm going to be coming down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, and I'm going to be connecting it into the shoulder line. So guys, now after I was done connecting it, so the next thing to do, I'm going to be marking out the neckline. So the neckline I'm using is 3 inches by 1 inch for the back part. So after we're done cutting out the back part, then we cut out the front neckline. But for now, let's just work with the back neckline. So I'm just going to be connecting it into the neckline this way, into the shoulder line. So the next thing to do is to determine my sleeve opening. So for me, the sleeve opening I want to use is 10 inches. So I'm just going to mark 10 inches. So to place my sleeve opening, I'm going to be placing it from the shoulder slope, not from the tip, from the shoulder slope. So you can see I'm placing it from that 1 inch down. So I mark out 10 inches. So I'm trying to get whatsoever I have around that part, which is 17 inches. I'm going to be placing it on the sleeve part so that I can have a straight line there. So I'm placing it there so I have my 17 inches. So the next thing to do is from that point now, that is where I'm going to be placing my body measurement. So I'm going to be dividing the biggest part of my body, which is my hip. So I'm using my hip for the upper part. So I'm going to be dividing the hip I'm working. So the hip I'm working with is around 44 inches. So 44 divided by 4 is 11 inches. Then I'm going to be adding 1 inch for ease and 1 inch for joining allowance. So please, when you're making yours, make sure that your sewing allowance is 1 inch, because we are going to be using it as a casing for the drawstring that is by the side. So the next thing I'm just going to do is to connect all of these lines out. So now from that sharp point, I'm just going to make like a curve, because that part is not supposed to be sharp like that. So I'm just going to make like a curve and cut all of this out. So before cutting, I forgot to measure the full length. So the full length I'm working with is 27 inches. So I'm working with 27 inches, but I'm going to be marking out 28 inches right now. So because I'm going to be using 1 inch for the hemming allowance, then half inches to join it. So everything is just going to end around 26.5 or 27 inches, which is just fine by me. So the next thing to do is just to cut this out. So for these electric scissors that you can see me using, so if you're in Nigeria and you're interested in getting these electric scissors, I have it in bulk for sale. So if you are interested, so you can just send me a DM even on YouTube, and I'm going to be in the comment section to reply you. So now let's continue. So the next thing to do is just to remove one part of this. So I'm just going to remove one part, and I'm going to be cutting out the neckline for the front. So now to cut out the neckline for the front, the first thing we are going to do is to measure how deep we want the neckline to be. So for me, I want the neckline to be around 8 inches. So you can see when I was measuring, I measured from my shoulder, so it means I have complete 8 inches. So if you want to measure from the neckline, you make sure that your tape rule, you are going up by the 1 inch we minus for the back neckline. So now after measuring 8 inches, so from that 8 inches point, you go in by 1 inch, just the way I have done. then you connect it to the neckline. So you can see the way I connected it to the neckline. So, and I'm just going to cut this out. So this is what we have for the front. So the next thing to do is just to place the back on the front and join the shoulders. So I'll go ahead to join the shoulders. So after joining the shoulders, so the next thing to do is just work on the neckline. So the neckline is like a scrub neckline. So what we are going to do first is to measure whatsoever I have around the neck area. So you can see that I'm placing my tape rule, I'm placing my tape rule from the 1 inches. So you can see the way I placed my tape rule. I did not curve the tape rule. I just measured from the 1 inches and I have around 13 inches. So now the next thing I'm going to do is, since it is on fold, so I'm going to be cutting 13 times 2, that's 26 inches. So the length you are going to be cutting, please make sure it is more than 26. You can cut at least 30 inches. For me, what I have here is very long. That's because I just cut out a very long piece. But if you want to measure, just make sure you cut around 30 inches so that you can be on the safe side. And I cut out 3.5 inches. So on fold, I have around 1.75 or 1.5. So that is what I have. And I went ahead to add air stay to this so that it can have structure and it can be thick enough, since it's going to be on the neckline and I want it to stand properly. So the next thing to do, don't use hard stay, please. Just use your hair stay. It is just fine. So now I'm going to be showing you how you're going to be placing the neckline. So to place the neckline, this is the front part of my fabric. So this is the front part of my fabric. So, and I'm going to make sure that I have like 2 inches excess. So you can see that I have like 2 inches excess. Then I placed it this way and I'm going to sew. So you can see the way I folded my hand. That's to show you that after we're done sewing, it's going to be looking that way. So that is why you're supposed to place it on the right side of your fabric. So I'm just going to sew this all round. So I'm just going to sew it all around the neckline. So it's just going to be like a curve. So when I'm sewing, I'm going to start from like ½ inches. So you can see the way I'm placing it. So you're just going to go ahead and sew all of that. And so make sure that you leave at least 2 inches flying before you start sewing, because you will definitely need it. So you can see that I left like 2 inches. In fact, I left around 1 inches, which was wrong. It was supposed to be 2 inches. So after you're done, so you can see the way I'm raising up the collar part, I'm giving this a notch. So I am notching the orange material, not the green color. So note, I am notching the orange material, not the green color. So I'm just going to go ahead and notch it so that the collar is going to relax and we'll be able to finish it up. So the next thing we are going to do is to turn this to the wrong side. So now it is facing the wrong side. So I'm just going to pull out all of my collars from the front part. So the reason why I said you should leave 2 inches before you start sewing is so that you can have something to overlap and finish up your collar. So that is why I said leave 2 inches. So you can see how it is looking now. So if you notch out your orange part very well, if you notch it very well, then you should have like ½ inches flying at the back. So I'll show you now. So you overlap this properly. Make sure that your neckline is relaxed properly and you overlap it neatly and properly. So you can see I have that ½ inches because I notch it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and sew it. You can see the way I'm showing you. So that's how we're going to be sewing it. So you can just go ahead to pin it down so that it's not going to move when you get to the sewing machine, or you can iron it down, pin it down, then you go and sew. So please make sure you do it properly. If not, your neckline is not going to relax properly and it's not going to give you a good job. So you can see I even went ahead to pin it down before taking it to the sewing machine and sew. So I'll go ahead and take this to the sewing machine now and sew. So you can see how the front is looking. So let's just go ahead and sew this. So so this is it now after I was done sewing. So you can see how the front is looking, and I went ahead to give it a good press so you can see the excess fabric. So you can just go ahead to cut that out or weave it so you can see the joining. So I'm just going to go ahead to weave the neckline properly. So that's just how you can knit in this neckline. So you just go ahead to weave it. So now the next thing to do is to work on the sleeve. So the sleeve we are working on is a turn up sleeve. So we're not going to be joining it like the normal way we join sleeve to our boo-boos. What we are going to do is we are going to be making a turn up sleeve. So to make a turn up sleeve, so you are going to be placing it this way. So you can see that I'm not placing it on the right side. You can see that I folded. Okay, so just look at what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do is, this is the right side now. I folded it and I'm going to be placing the band this way. So I'll go ahead to stitch it so that by the time I stitch it, I'm just going to raise it to the front part. Just look at what I'm doing. I don't think the way I'm explaining it is doing justice. So now this is it now after I was done sewing it. So let me show you how I sew it. So this is the wrong side now. You can see that's the wrong side. So I placed the fabric, the sleeve band on the wrong side. So after I am done sewing now, I'm going to be showing you. So this is the front now. I'm just going to fold it like this. So that is how to make a turn up sleeve. So what I'm going to do now is to go ahead and top stitch. So you can see the way I'm showing you. So I'm just going to go ahead and top stitch that and give it a really good press so that the turn up sleeve is going to come out looking very neat and not tacky. And because you're not going to be using any gum to glue this down, so you need to give it a really good press. So let me go ahead to do that. And after I am done, I'm going to be joining the sides. So to join the sides, I'm going to be using my exact 1 inches that I added. That's because we're going to be using that 1 inches for the casing for the drawstring. So I hope you understand. So I'm going to be using it for the casing for the drawstring. So now guys, this is it now after I was done with the top stitching. So I did not join the shoulder side so that I can show you what it really looks like. So now after I was done top stitching, now I'm going to iron it. So I just showed you this top stitching side. So guys, this is it now after I was done ironing it. So you can see it's relaxing on its own. It does not need any support, any gum. It's just relaxing on its own. So now we're going to go ahead to join the sides. So when I'm joining the side around the shoulder, or around the sleeve, I'm going to start with 1/2 inches and work my way into 1 inches. So because of the sleeve, I'm just going to work with 1/2 inches. So guys, after I was done joining the side, I went ahead to notch all of the curve parts so that by the time I'm ironing, it's going to relax properly. So that's why you should notch your curve part. So now when I was joining the side, I went ahead to leave at least 7.5 inches or 7 inches. So that is going to be like the slit where we are going to be passing through the this drawstring. So I left around 7.5 inches. So now I'm just going to go ahead to weave all of my rough parts. But make sure that when you are weaving the side, you are weaving it individually, not together. So I'll go ahead to bend the down part first before I bend the side slits so that I can have like a opening where I can pass in my drawstring. So now I'm just going to go ahead to do all of that, add the drawstring, and I'll show you. So guys, now this is it after I was done with the slits. So you can see that I passed the rope through it. So you can see how it is looking very neat. So now the reason why I said you should fold the down part before the side is because so that you can have a space to pass your thread through. So but if you fold the side before the down part, you're going to have issue with the way you will pass your thread your rope. So fold the down part before the side. So guys, and you can draw your drawstring. You can see how beautiful it is looking. So guys, that's just how to make this top. So guys, thank you so much for watching this tutorial, and I'm going to be seeing you in the next tutorial. Bye guys.